The Browns are clearly establishing themselves as a team that wants to be run first, and they have two great runners to do it in Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Odell Beckham, meanwhile, through 3 games, has 11 catches. That doesn't feel right to me. It just doesn't feel like a player of his caliber. They're utilizing everything he can do. DeAndre Hopkins averages that per game. If you're the Browns, are you giving some thought to trading him before the deadline?
Look, I don't think that's a smart thing to do. Look, I understand that philosophically they want their rush percentage to be in the top 5. Look, right now they're number 2 in the NFL. They run the ball over 52% of the time, which is, look, if Kevin Stefanski wants to run his offense that way, then that's great. But you still need that explosive outside lane component to your offense if you really want to be able to deal with the upper echelon teams in the NFL, and in particular in the AFC, right? Didn't we just do a segment about Pat Mahomes? You better be able to score 30, 35 points. You better be able to air it out. You better be able to throw the ball around the field and match a team like that score for score if you really want to get to the Super Bowl, if that's your goal. So if that's your goal, I don't know if you want to be trading away assets like Odell Beckham, who are guys who can light it up, as well as anybody in the NFL on the perimeter, because without him, you have no shot against teams like that. You're not going to just run the ball 52 times. Run the ball, let's just say 30, 40 times a game and have a 52% rush percentage against the Chiefs and expect to be able to contend with them year after year after year. So I wouldn't be looking to go that route. I'd be looking to try and work him more into my offense and try and improve his explosiveness within the context of my offense. That's just what I would be thinking to do. I don't understand how, every year we keep coming up with this conversation about Odell, like the Giants didn't need him, now the Browns don't need him, maybe we should just send him down the road to somewhere else. It was just a couple of years ago we were talking about him being one of the top players that we've ever seen from a pure talent standpoint to play the position ever. And now we're talking about, is he going to be on his 3rd team here going forward? I just don't know how we got here to this place with him.
I totally get that. And we're not even really talking necessarily about the Giants had issues with him. I'm not in any way being critical of Odell.
Sure.
The reality, though, is, Domonique, they're not using him like he's one of the best receivers in the NFL. I'm not sure if that's working for them or for him.
Yeah, I understand why we're here. While I agree with Louis that we should not be considering trading, I understand when you look at that team, it's loaded with weapons, and you think, well, maybe we don't need all these many weapons and we could get something else that could help us. However, he is unique, and as Louis was alluding to, you need to be able to stretch the field. Offenses in this league need a deep threat. He is the only one on that team, or he's unique in that ability to be able to take a short pass to the house or to be able to run past defensive backs. And even if he only catches it 11 times, I understand you want him to catch it more than that. The threat of Odell Beckham running past your defense is something that matters, that opens things up for the rest of the team. So I agree with you. If you have someone, a weapon like that is that special, they need to be using it more. But I don't think that it's worth considering moving on from him, because nobody else they have on that roster, no matter how good all those guys are, can do the things that he can do, can threaten and scare a defense the way that he does.
Meanwhile, let's just focus a little more. If the Cowboys should ever lose that game, look at the rest of the NFC East. This weekend, the Eagles are a 7-point underdog. Washington and the Giants are 12-point underdogs. We could be 4 weeks into the season, and that division might have a total of 2 wins. Louis, should there be a minimum? I know we've had teams that have won divisions at 7 and 9. If the champion of the NFC East is 5 and 11, do you still believe they deserve one of the playoff spots?
Look, you know what? In reality, probably not. Look, the playoffs are supposed to be reserved for the cream of the crop, right? The best of the best. But that's the way the divisions are set up. You're going to have representation from all the divisions. So even though, for us, we sit here and we shake our head at the quality of play in that division in particular, and we're just baffled by how we got here with that division, it is, that's just the situation. And it's amazing to think of some of the proud franchises that you have in the NFC East when you're talking about Dallas and Washington and the Giants and Philadelphia, the Super Bowls that have been won in that division. And now we're talking about could we have them significantly below 500 on the record from a record standpoint and still making the playoffs? It is hard to believe. It is.
Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I understand your point, and I like the idea of punishing a division for being that bad. But one of the great things about the NFL is all the games kind of matter. And if you win a division, you can get into playoffs only having 4 or 5 wins in a season. It makes the games towards the end of the season that we would otherwise ignore and that we do ignore in other sports because the divisions aren't as important. It makes those games relevant. So I think it's an unfortunate byproduct. And can't they just get good? Like, why do we have to punish them? Just don't be so stinky. You're ruining it for everybody else. Or last year.
The Giants just played all of the 49ers backups and lost 36-7. You could make an argument they're not one of the best 32 teams in the NFL. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.